This anime begins by showing a war that is going on. A female magician named Lemia appeared to scare a war troop. When Lemia raised her hand, suddenly a whirlwind appeared from her hand, which she released to attack, causing a huge explosion. On a city street, two high school students, Taichi and Rin, were seen walking while chatting when suddenly a leaf floated next to his ear. He heard the sound of the leaf calling his name. Meanwhile, from behind, a cyclist almost hit Rin. On the other hand, two people had gathered in a room like a palace, and one of them drew a magic circle that glowed. Unknowingly, a mysterious man stabbed one of them with a sword to the ground. Another figure asked how the mysterious man found the place. The sword drips blood on the magic circle so that the light that glows from the circle goes out. As the mysterious man raised his sword and attempted to attack another figure, the man who had been stabbed earlier restrained the mysterious man until he was stabbed again to death. When Taichi and Rin resumed their journey to go home, a magic circle appeared below them. The panicked Taichi asked her to get out of the circle, but she grabbed his uniform sleeve, so they both disappeared along with the magic circle disappearing. Soon after, Taichi and Rin were thrown into a vast, unfamiliar meadow. They stood up and walked over to find clues. Afterward, she took out her cell phone, but it didn't work in that place. However, Taichi felt that the place was different from his world and explained the magic circle that had cast them into that strange place. Afterward, Rin stops Taichi and asks him not to do something crazy. Suddenly, a red-eyed black horse that looked angry appeared before them. They realized the horse was no ordinary horse, and they ran and hid while Taichi distracted it. However, Rin refused and said that Taichi could die, but he didn't care as long as Rin survived. He said he was willing to sacrifice his life. At the same time, a bald man in a night outfit named Balda appears and attacks the black horse before it shoots fire at Taichi. From another direction, an arrow shot and hit the black horse, causing the horse to fall. Soon after, he saw a young man named Rakelta carrying a bow and told Taichi that the horse that attacked him was an obsidian horse breed, one of the strongest and most dangerous horse breeds. Suddenly, a girl named Magilla appears and casts a magic circle in the air to burn the obsidian horse. Seeing that, Taichi and Rin looked amazed at the strength of the three people who saved them. Soon after, it was getting late, and Taichi and Rin joined the three of them. They gathered around a bonfire, and Taichi later found out the three were adventurers. Rakelta then asks where they are from because he feels Taichi and Rin are not from that place. There, Magilla tells of a freight train heading to the city being attacked and people disappearing. Balder realized that the situation was getting worse. Then Taichi heard the three talking about a city called Aspire, so he asked them to take him there. Balder says he will go there if Taichi and Rin have made up. Taichi then approached her, who was sitting alone, and apologized. Afterward, she forgives him and asks him not to do anything that endangers his life again. The next day, they started their journey toward Aspire City. When they got there, they saw the active residents. However, Rakelta didn't explain that the city was an important part of the Elistane magical kingdom, the headquarters of the three adventurers. Shortly after, Magilla explained the location of the Adventurers Guild in the city. Suddenly, Rakelta asks if Taichi and Rin want to be adventurers, and Taichi says yes because they need jobs to survive in that place. Before parting ways, Balda gave them money and they thanked the three adventurers for their kindness. Balda then informed Taichi that he and his two comrades were operating at the Mithril Inn, and after that, they parted ways. Not long after, Taichi and Rin arrived at the guild registration house, and a woman named Marie greeted them. Marie gave them a guild contract, but they both couldn't read the text on the contract, so she explained that to become an adventurer, they needed magic energy, and if they didn't have that energy, neither of them was allowed to register. After that, Marie tried to hand over a crystal ball and had Rin touch the ball to check her magical energy. Suddenly the ball glowed when Rin touched it, and when it was Taichi's turn, the crystal ball cracked. Seeing that, Marie really wondered who they really were. Marie, worried that Taichi and Rin would cause trouble, returned with the guild leaders, Gerard and Mura. Gerard then said they couldn't register and asked Mura to take them both to Lemia's place. At Lemia's house, the four of them gathered at the dining table. Mura explained that the crystal ball couldn't check magic energy, so Taichi and Rin had to check it again using a tool Lumia gave them. Unexpectedly, the two devices glow and reveal passwords after being held by Taichi and Rin. However, Lumia and Mura didn't expect their magical energy to be that big, so Lumia allowed them to become adventurers on the condition that they both had to become her students. Elsewhere, someone reported having searched every city to find the person who was lost. The next day, Lemia informs that Taichi and Rin's magical capacity can make them knights or mages of the kingdom. Because both of them still don't know how to use that great power, Lumia makes them apprentices so that they can become S-class adventurers or high-ranking magicians. During breakfast, Mura explained that magic has 4 spirits: water, fire, wind, and earth. Generally, a person has one attribute or a single magician. Then she said she was a double magician with 2 attributes, and Lumia was a triple magician with 3 attributes. Rin has 4 attributes as a quad magician, and Taichi does not have these attributes because he was born as a natural magician or unique magician who does not need spells and has great power that can control ancient magic. Soon after, the practice begins. Lemia knocks down a tree with one hand and asks Taichi to do the same by concentrating strength in his hands. Suddenly, a green light shot beside Taichi with an encouraging voice that he initially thought was Lemia's. On the other hand, Rin was training with Mura to create fire in her hands. Mura explained that magic techniques required imagination, so Rin raised her hand and started concentrating so that she could release the fire. Seeing that, Mura was surprised by her power that could emit blue flames. As the afternoon came, Rin approached Taichi, who was resting, while asking about his practice. She cheered and asked Taichi to try practicing one more time. Then, he closed his eyes and concentrated. He let out a light in his palm and again heard the mysterious voice that said he wanted to meet Taichi soon. However, when Taichi asked Rin about the voice, she didn't hear it. At night, Mura seemed unable to sleep, so she approached Lemia, asking what she would do with Rin and Taichi's great strength. Then she said she insisted on training them so they both could master their powers in 3 weeks and become adventurers. However, their existence could threaten the region if people knew about their great power. Meanwhile, in a palace, a hooded person is praying. The next day, Taichi trained again by fighting a fenwolf. It can be seen that his strength is growing rapidly, so he defeats the monster easily. Rin, who trained against the horned rabbit, could defeat the herd quickly. From the top of the hill, Lemia and Mura were praising their strength. Suddenly, an obsidian horse appears, and it seems that Taichi and Rin can beat it without difficulty this time. Afterward, Lemia and Mura prepared dinner and celebrated Taichi and Rin's graduation. Lumia says that they must go to Aspire City to become adventurers. She added that the two of them were lost figures from another world. Their arrival was summoned by someone with a high magic level using a magic circle. Taichi and Rin are surprised Lemia finds out they are from another world. When Rin asks about the magician who summoned them, Lumia just says they must find it themselves. After the graduation party was over, in the room, Taichi thanked Rin for accompanying him to that world. They discussed plans to raise money, find the magician who summoned them, and ask the magician to send them back. At midnight, when Taichi was thinking about his power, suddenly a green light appeared and said they would meet soon until he dreamed of the mysterious voice. Finally, Taichi and Rin return to Aspire City and meet their rescuers. As ranky adventurers, they are busy completing missions daily and getting used to living in that world. One day, at a restaurant, Rin learned the history of the Elstein Rain Kingdom as basic knowledge about the kingdom. Not long after, a waitress named Almeda came to tell her that their breakfast would be ready soon. She gave a message to Taichi containing the guild summons. Shortly after, Taichi and Rin went to meet Marie after finishing breakfast. At the guild office, Gerard gives them a mission to investigate and keep an eye on the bartenders and customers at a bar in the village. They were paid 7 silver and a bonus if they could get important information about smugglers and contraband in the village. Then they looked at the mission pamphlet and found 2 crosses on it. Afterward, Gerard explained that the mission had been carried out twice and failed. If Taichi and Rin successfully completed the mission, they would be ranked in the D class. Before going on a mission, Rin and Taichi first decide to relax at the market and realize that food is very expensive. A fruit seller says there is a food shortage because the train transporting groceries to the city is attacked by monsters. A few moments later, Rin and Taichi arrived at the bar and ordered drinks to get information from the bartender. They talked about skyrocketing food prices and the other bar patrons eavesdropping on the smugglers' anger. After defeating the smugglers, Taichi asks who makes the attack, but the customers don't know. They explain that someone had told them to, but they didn't ask the person's name because they were drunk. They found the goods in the carriage and transported them to the city gates. Then the bartender confirmed the story, asked Taichi and Rin not to interfere, and sent them away. As Rin and Taichi leave the bar, they feel something is following them, and they think that person is the assailant they are looking for. Not long after, 3 hooded female figures appeared in front of them carrying swords and charged straight away. After that, Taichi took out a sword and noticed the speed of the hooded woman's attack. From how the 3 women fought, Rin and Taichi concluded that the veiled women had important information regarding the attack, so they agreed to arrest the 3 female attackers. With their magic, Taichi and Rin catch one woman though the other 2 escape. Upon approaching, Rin learned that the female assailant was an assassin. Because of that, they decided to take her to the guild to lock her up. Taichi then asked Gerard to keep an eye on the woman. At a restaurant, Mura is seen waiting for Rin and Taichi to arrive. After they meet, they tell what happened in Aspire and surprise Mura because things are worse than imagined. Soon after, Mura asks them to join her group. Fortunately, both of them were willing, and they started a journey to carry out a mission, namely guarding the fruit garden in Malilla village to catch the perpetrators of the theft. Then Mura explained that the possible culprit was a powerful magician, so the people were powerless against him. Arriving at the village, Rin, Taichi, and Mura became acquainted with 3 villagers named McGill, Leith, and Kasim. Kasim said that he was the one who submitted the mission request to the guild, and while shaking Taichi's hand, he felt something strange. Soon after, McGill takes them around Malilla's garden, and as he explains about the garden, Rin's wand glows, detecting something with great power approaching. Mura then ordered McGill and Lee to take cover from behind a tree. Not long after, large ogres and orcs appeared. Afterward, they shared the task of attacking the two monsters until they were defeated. At night, Mura, Rin, and Taichi discussed orcs and ogres that shouldn't be wandering around in Melilla's garden. From this awkwardness, Rin concluded that someone had orchestrated the attack. At the same time, in the middle of the forest, a girl named Grammy has killed a pack of wolves, and she absorbs the animal's power by putting it in a pouch. Before she disappeared, she told the adventurers to wait for her action. Meanwhile, in prison, the female assassin remembers her fight with Taichi. With his great power, Taichi should be able to kill her. Shortly after, Gerard came over and asked if the woman had made up her mind, and she agreed with his question. In Melilla's garden, Taichi and his friends patrolled again. They found traces and remains of a bonfire. Rin's wand detected that a thief was not far from them. After checking, they saw 3 men stealing fruit, and Taichi caught the thieves with his magic. When arrested, the thieves grumble because the woman who usually protects them doesn't come. Then Kasim thanked them because the thieves were caught. Afterward, Taichi and Kasim shook hands again. Taichi said that Kasim's hand was very smooth and different from the hands of other farmers. Kasim explained that he was a supervisor and did not do physical work. Mura, who was suspicious, said that ordinary people usually didn't know about orcs and ogres, but that was different with Kasim. Taichi asked who Kasim really was. Kasim, who had been caught, admitted that he was the mastermind behind all the events in Melilla's garden because he just wanted to know the power of Taichi and his friends. Suddenly, Grammy appears and attacks them. Because of that, Rin and Mura are seen teaming up to attack Grammy. Meanwhile, Taichi has prepared to fight with Kasim, who issued a tiger-shaped frost element. Unfortunately, when Taichi repeatedly attacked the ice tiger, his attacks did not work. Meanwhile, Mura and Rin seem overwhelmed by the tough Grammy. On the other hand, Taichi had not succeeded in immobilizing the ice tiger. Soon after, Kasim took out a red ball for his ice tiger and made the ice tiger turn into a red element, which attacked Taichi. Due to the attack, Taichi is injured, and Kasim says he will take Mura and Rin hostage so that Taichi obeys all his orders. On the other hand, Mura and Rin, who were almost exhausted, were still trying to fight Grammy together, so they managed to hurt her. Shortly after, Kasim appears and stops their fight. Mura and Rin looked surprised that Taichi had been seriously injured. When they are almost taken away by Kasim, Taichi begins to lose consciousness, and now he is in a black room with green light called Ariel. Suddenly Taichi got power, and with that, he attacked the red element and eliminated it. Because of that, Kasim was injured after being hit by the attack. After using great power, Taichi fainted. Meanwhile, Kasim and Grammy managed to escape. When Taichi woke up, he was already at Lemia's house. After eating and recovering his body, Lemia explains that Taichi slept for a week because he had exhausted his strength while using magic and told him that Mura and Rin were currently in town to do something. Afterward, Lemia asked about the incident in Melilla. From Taichi's story, she concludes that Kasim's power is obtained from an agreement that is very forbidden because it combines the human and animal worlds. When the two are combined, it creates an extraordinary power. Soon after, Taichi tells about his encounter with Ariel or Wind Spirit and asks Lemia to explain more about Ariel. Hearing that, she was surprised. Elsewhere, Kasim confronts a white-hooded man named Ladra and tells of his battle with Taichi. Ladra says they are getting closer to their goal. Suddenly, he got up, grabbed Grammy's hand, and gave a spider-shaped mark on her hand, which looked like she didn't like it. Besides that, Ladra had prepared a carnival invitation and said Taichi should get the invitation. Taichi, who is still with Lemia, discovers he is the summoner. Lemia explains that he will obtain stronger magic after forming a contract with his spirit. While at the restaurant, Almeda asked about Taichi's condition, who was visiting. After telling her his condition, Taichi asked when Mura and Rin would return. However, Almeda didn't know. Then Taichi decided to look for the two friends. At the end of the road, Taichi saw a girl named Anastasia being harassed by 2 men. Afterward, he tries to save Anastasia and tells the men to go away. Suddenly, Anastasia tells him that she is the assassin he once caught. She explained that she was a former assassin and had joined a guild. Afterward, he helps Anastasia complete a mission in a house and finds a suspicious paper. Meanwhile, Mura and Rin were enjoying snacks in town when a commotion broke out because a buyer was nagging about the price of the item he was going to buy. They lure the youth to the outskirts of town. When they fought the young man, Grammy suddenly came out of the shadows and hit and took Mura away. On the other hand, Anastasia and Taichi were seen walking down an underground passage when Taichi said if the writing he found on the paper was true, a group of goblins strengthened by the Crimson Agreement was hiding under Aspire City. Then Anastasia says if the goblins are released, they have to stop them. When they arrived at a door, she prevented Taichi, who was about to open it using magic, because she suspected this was all a trap. In the city, Rin was still trying to find Mura. Suddenly Grammy appeared and informed Mura was currently in the tower. Surprised, Rin asks why Grammy told her. Grammy explained that she had just followed her master's orders earlier. She said Rin should save Miura because her master would make a crimson agreement using Miura. Hearing this, Rin went to the top of the tower. She saw that a magic circle had been drawn and Miura was hanging above the circle. One of the guards there only said that they would use Miura as a sacrifice for the Crimson Pact. With her magic, Rin attacked all the guards and saved Miura. At the exit door, Rin sees Kasim appear with Ladra, who says that soon there will be 3,000 monsters attacking the city and destroying everything they protect. Rin suddenly thought of Taichi. Unexpectedly, Ladra informed them that Taichi would not save them while leaving. He added that he was impatiently waiting for the adventurers to save the city. On the way, Kasim explained to Ladra that the goblin army was ready to attack the city. Ladra said the strength of 3,000 goblins was quite equivalent to Taichi's. On the other hand, Taichi is fighting the golems to save Anastasia. After defeating the monster, a door opened, and 2 girls named Mero and Miro were seen there. Meanwhile, Rin and Miura meet Gerard to report about 3,000 monsters that will invade Aspire. They tell of Ladra and Kasim targeting an attack in Aspire. Hearing the report, Gerard gave orders to summon the entire army of adventurers and royal guards. From their explanation, Gerard did not recognize the figure who intended to destroy the Aspire, and Miura concluded that the man was the mastermind behind the city's reduced food supply, thus weakening the guard. Soon after, Gerard said that he hoped that Taichi was with them at this time. Even without Taichi, Rin and Miura say they will fight together to protect Aspire. Not long after, Lemia came and said she would join the battle. Elsewhere, Taichi was seen arguing with Mero and Miro. The 2 little kids said some goblins would hurt women. It also will kill and eat men and children. Then Taichi reminds them that they are just children, and they can't fight it, and if they still insist, they will be in danger. However, they casually replied that they had a crystal ball that would rule over the goblins. Shortly after, Mero and Miro ignite the crystal ball, and the red goblins start to rise. Then Taichi asked Anastasia to cover them while he attacked the red goblin army. As it turned out, the red goblin army was too much, so he thought of a strategy to defeat them all. Suddenly, the crystal ball Mero and Miro were carrying fell to the ground and broke, making the goblins attack them. Because of that, Taichi tried to help them. At the guild headquarters, adventurers gathered. They were receiving reports that the North Fortress had fallen, and the adventurers were thinking about another counter-strategy. There, Rin said she would overcome the first attack tomorrow morning. The next morning, Rin stood on top of the fortress that had a combination of fire, earth, water, and air magic, making a huge explosion after the horde of monsters was seen. With her magic power, she managed to prevent the monsters from entering Aspire. At the same time, all the guards had prepared to advance against the second attack at the open city gates, and a great battle ensued. And it was seen that Ladra and Kasim were enjoying the fight on the hill. Soon after, Gerard, who was in the guild, received a report that the monsters with the Crimson Treaty were preparing to attack. At that time, Taichi, Anastasia, and 2 earthen magician daughters appeared on the battlefield to help. Not long after, Rin, Miura, and Lemia were seen combining their magic and working together to finish off the enemy. After explaining what happened, Taichi invited Mero and Miro to join the battle. Arriving on the battlefield, Taichi saw many dead monsters lying on the ground. On the other hand, Rin, fighting the monster leader, felt that her magic power would run out, and it was her last minute. Suddenly, she remembers Taichi and her normal life. Then, Taichi appeared to protect her from the monster's attack. After he came, the monsters there could be eliminated easily. Seeing this, Lemia looked amazed at the power Taichi had. Meanwhile, Kasim and Ladra were still observing the battle on the hill. Not long after, inside the city, a guard reported the conditions of the battle to Gerard that many monsters had been defeated, but the Red Ogre, the leader of the army, still couldn't be defeated. In the battle area tent, Anastasia contemplates her encounter with Taichi when a black-robed person passes by and whispers something that makes her seem hypnotized. Unknowingly, Anastasia walked out of the tent towards the battlefield. Meanwhile, Mero and Miro are seen helping Taichi attack the monsters in the battle area. Shortly after, Miura, Rin, and Lemia gathered to protect Taichi with their magic. In that battle, he finally faced a Red Ogre who was strong enough that even his several attacks didn't hurt the Red Ogre. Suddenly, a twin-head dragon monster rose, which made Lemia surprised because the battle above ground was none of the dragon's business. Lemia wondered what caused the monster to come out of its lair. However, on the hill, Ladra said that all the pieces needed had gathered, and it was time to see Taichi's true strength. As the situation gets more dangerous, Taichi asks Miura, and Lemia leaves with Mero and Miro because he will finish the battle. Suddenly, Rin says she will stay there to fight alongside him, and Taichi warns her to be careful. Soon after, Taichi tried to summon Ariel to borrow her power, but there was no answer, so he started to attack the dragon monster with his own power. The great power of the dragon makes Taichi very overwhelmed. At that moment, he thought about why the dragon descended into a battle that he shouldn't have come to. Besides that, the dragon monster should be able to kill him easily, but the dragon seemed to be holding back its power. Anastasia, who had been hypnotized, suddenly appeared and took Taichi by surprise. Afterward, Taichi asks why Anastasia came, and she says she doesn't know how she got there. Suddenly, the twin-head dragon is about to launch its attack, so Rin screams to warn Taichi and Anastasia. Because of that, Anastasia pushes Taichi not to be hit by the attack, and in the end, she has to die after she protects him. Seeing that, Taichi was angry because he had promised Anastasia to protect her, and then he shouted to ask Ariel to help. Not long after, a violent gust of wind came, and Ariel, a green elf, appeared. Ariel apologized that she couldn't help and explained that she was a spirit and could only help if she received orders from the summoner. Then Taichi asked why Ariel lent her power to him at that time. Ariel replied that that time was an exception because Taichi almost died. After that, he asked Ariel to give him the power back to save his friends. Shortly after, Taichi returned to the battlefield with a formidable force. He walked over to the twin-heart dragon and asked why the top-tier monster had interfered in the battle. Then, twin-head dragon asked Taichi to fight him first. He said that if he lost, he promised to answer Taichi's question. Hearing that, he accepts the challenge, and they begin to fight. Finally, several times Taichi's attacks succeeded in immobilizing the dragon, and the dragon kept its promise by saying that its appearance was an order from someone who wanted to fight Taichi. Before twin-head dragon left, he said that if Taichi wanted to protect something precious, he had to be strong. In one room, Ladra was seen reporting the battle conditions to a woman behind a curtain. He tells about Taichi's extraordinary power after making a pact with the wind spirit. Then Ladra asked what to do next. Hearing that, the woman says she will attack the kingdom after attacking the city. After the battle, the conditions in Aspire City slowly returned to normal. Shortly after, Miura, Lemia, Rin, and Taichi gathered and summoned Ariel. Lemia is amazed to see Taichi can summon spirits so easily. With Ariel's presence, they would all start training. Suddenly, a horse-drawn carriage from the kingdom came, and a girl princess of the Norman family named Ursina Norman came down. Then Ursina explained her arrival because she was sent by King Gilmer to borrow their powers. Afterward, she asked them to visit Wenifix's capital. Hearing that, Taichi and his friend, who agreed to Ursina's request, went with her to the capital. On the way, Lemia asked Ursina to explain what happened in the capital. Ursina explains that the current state of the kingdom is very worrying because, for 30 years, the kingdom of Elstein has been ruled by two factions. She said that her father, King Gilmer, expanded the power of diplomacy and established relations with other countries. Unfortunately, King Gilmer's younger brother, Duke Dordesheim, was against his decisions. Because of that, King Gilmer plans to send the best magicians to other countries to study, but Dordesheim thinks the decision will weaken the domestic power so that rebellion can occur at any time. Arriving at Wenifix City, Taichi and his friends were surprised by the very quiet condition of the city. Lemia then asks Ursina if King Gilmer knows anything about Taichi and Rin. She says nothing was special, but King Gilmer insisted on seeing them. Suddenly, an arrow shot, almost hitting Ursina. Luckily, Taichi managed to catch the arrow, which turned out to be the act of Dordesheim. When Taichi and company entered the palace, the people there didn't like their presence. Afterward, Ursina introduced the important people in the kingdom, and King Gilmer entered and sat on his chair. He thanked Taichi and his friends for protecting Aspire City. Lemia then asked the king not to beat around the bush and tell the purpose of inviting them all to the palace. Hearing that, King Gilmer asked the people in the room to leave them. After everyone left, Lemia said they would help the king, but on one condition: he had to answer whether he had summoned Taichi and Rin into the world. Soon after, King Gilmer finally admitted he needed someone with great power to deal with the rebellion. That's why he summoned them. Hearing that, Taichi was upset because of King Gilmer's actions. He lost his normal life. While Rin and Taichi were resting in their room, Princess Charlotte came to see them. She says she is a magician sent to summon Rin and Taichi. Afterward, she explained that while she was performing the summoning ritual, it turned out that Dordesheim had sneaked in. Shortly after, Taichi asked how he and Rin could return home. Unfortunately, Princess Charlotte explains that summoning magic can only be performed once in a lifetime. She apologized and promised to find a way to bring them both back after the kingdom was at peace. Suddenly, Lemia appears and asks Taichi to come out. As it turned out, he was asked to go to the fighting arena and saw the commander-in-chief of the Supreme Army, General Smyra, appear. Smyra said she intends to fight Taichi to ensure his strength. Soon after the fight started, she sped up, attacked Taichi, and overwhelmed him with incredible speed. By making several attacks, Taichi finally managed to defeat her. After that, Smyra admits defeat, apologizes, and asks Taichi to be her husband. Hearing that, he was surprised and refused her invitation. At night, Taichi calls Ariel to tell her about his worries. Taichi doesn't want Rin to get hurt and go back to being a high school kid like his previous life. When he returned to the room, Taichi was surprised to see Rin, who had finished bathing and was only wearing underwear. Meanwhile, in a room, Princess Charlotte prays for Taichi and Rin to be given the strength to win the fight. Not long after, Ladra came and told her to rest. Afterward, she left, and Ladra looked at her departure with a suspicious look. The next day, Taichi met Rin, who was watering the plants in the palace courtyard. Soon after, Taichi said Lemia called them to join the royal army meeting. Meanwhile, Duke Dordesheim and his followers discussed the strategy to attack Wenifix City. He was worried that the existence of Taichi and Rin could ruin his plans. Inside the palace, General Smyre reported that the rebel forces had begun to move and would attack Wenifix tomorrow morning. Soon after, King Gilmer and his followers began to strategize war. However, Taichi was worried that their enemy, this time, would not be a monster but a human. Therefore, Miura told Taichi and Rin to fight as usual. In the evening, Rin asks Taichi to sleep with her and expresses his worries about the war that will occur tomorrow. During their conversation, he said that he promised to protect Rin no matter what. In another room, Lemia and Miura were talking about Rin and Taichi going to war tomorrow, believing they would win the battle. However, Lemia suddenly felt odd, so she went to Rin and Taichi's room. Suddenly, an intruder enters and stabs the form under the blanket as he targets Rin. Fortunately, Taichi appears to catch the intruder and beat him up. When Lumia arrived, she asked who ordered the intruder. Unfortunately, the intruder escaped by jumping from the balcony and died. The next day, it was early in the morning, and everyone was preparing to go down to the battlefield. From the top of the fortress, Taichi watched the swarm of troops preparing to attack Wenifix City. However, after waiting for a while, the attackers did not move. Suddenly, hundreds of fireballs flew toward them. Lemia said she recognized the power that came from the magic stone. Finally, they thought of a strategy to cripple the rebels. Soon after, Rin uses her magic power by bringing down rain and lightning that strikes the opposing troops. At the end of the fort, the rebel troops fell due to his attack. Then, Nilgan, leading the army, ordered his troops to stand up. But, suddenly, Inimicus appears and stabs him, saying his job is done. Before his death, Nilgan cursed and said that Inimicus was a traitor. Finally, the war was over, and the people in the palace celebrated the victory. The next day, now the condition of the palace turned peaceful. Rin woke up Taichi, who was still asleep. When Taichi opened his eyes and saw Rin, he was mesmerized and praised her beauty. While they are having breakfast, Lemia tells them that King Gilmer is calling for them. Arriving at the palace, King Gilmer thanked them and said Princess Charlotte wanted to give them a present. Afterward, several palace maids came in carrying swords from the royal collection. Shortly after, King Gilmer said Taichi and his friends were free to choose the gift. Then Miura chose a short sword, Rin took a blue wand, Lemia chose a rare ring, and Taichi chose a black sword as a gift. Princess Charlotte explained that the sword was forged in the kingdom's eastern region, and although it was thin, it was of the highest quality. In the battle arena, General Smyra challenges Taichi and his friends to a fight. They all agreed and wanted to test the strength of the pre-selected gift. However, he chose to run away from her and walked into the city with Ariel that only Taichi could see. Soon after, citizens approached Taichi because they knew he had saved the city. Afterward, Taichi walked over and realized someone was following him, so he ordered the person to show himself. Suddenly, Kasim comes out, and Taichi is shocked after he sees Kasim's arm missing from his first attack. Kasim says he will kill Taichi and challenges him to a fight. However, he asked Kasim not to fight him in the city because it would endanger the citizens. Hearing that, Kasim laughs and says if Taichi refuses his offer, he will poison everyone in the city. Meanwhile, Miura and Rin fight in the arena using their new weapons. On the other hand, Lemia and Smyra were discussing Duke Dordesheim's army, preparing to launch a rebellion. On the other hand, Kasim and Taichi had prepared for the fight. Kasim then takes out a strange red object and explains that his strength will be on par with Taichi after using the power of the object. Suddenly, Ariel warned about the dangers of the thing Kasim had. After Kasim used the object, Taichi suddenly felt his power was limited. Then Taichi casts his magic ability, and the two start attacking each other. Unbeknownst to them, from a distance, there was a figure who was watching the fight. Afterward, Kasim puts out a stronger attack, but Taichi manages to beat him again. Finally, Kasim admits defeat, and Ariel asks him to restore Taichi's power. Kasim said that Taichi only needed to destroy the red thing. Suddenly, something strange happened. A black shadow figure came out of it and attacked Taichi. Kasim was surprised by the figure's appearance because he did not know about it. Apparently, Ariel knew about it and wondered if His Majesty was planning it. During the black figure's attack, Grammy appeared and attacked the black figure. Kasim then shouted for the red object to be destroyed, but the figure did not disappear once it was destroyed. Soon after, Taichi asks Ariel for help so that he manages to make the figure leave and realizes that his power has returned. On the other hand, a commotion broke out in the city and residents called for rebel forces to declare war. Meanwhile, in a room, Ladra faced a woman named Shade sitting on a throne. Shade told what happened in the battle, and Ladra was surprised to discover that she had predicted what would happen. Ladra said the preparations for his final guidance had been completed. As it turned out, she took care of Ladra to fulfill her true wish. At the palace, the troops are ready. Afterward, Rin and Taichi promise to protect each other until they win the battle. From the top of the hill, Duke Dortisheim and Inimicus discuss the possibility of them winning the battle. Inimicus assures him that they will defeat King Gilmer's army. However, Dortisheim was worried about Taichi's strength. Then Inimicus explains he has a special plan. At the same time, King Gilmer ordered his troops to start attacking, and the battle began. Using the power of her powerful new ring, Lemia can easily destroy enemy troops. Meanwhile, Taichi and Ariel jumped into the enemy base. Elsewhere, Ladra faced Shade, who was waiting for how Taichi and Rin would escape the predicament. Soon after, Rin found a commensurate opponent named Susora in the battle. Meanwhile, Mura was fighting a man named Marchis. Suddenly, a man named Misfollows appears and declares that he will fight Lemia. Then, she raised her wand and unleashed her power, but suddenly her attack was frozen by barrier magic. On the other hand, Taichi entered the opponent's tent on the battlefield. There, Duke Dortisheim and Inimicus were contemplating their next move to finish off King Gilmer's army. They are both surprised to see Taichi come and offer peace. As the kingdom's representative, Taichi said that Duke Dortisheim and King Gilmer wanted the people's happiness, but their way was wrong, so they made the people fight and shed blood. Taichi says if Duke Dortisheim withdraws his troops, King Gilmer will give anything for them. At the same time, no one noticed something escaping from Inimicus' body creeping and permeating the troops lying outside. On the battlefield, Lemia managed to kill Misfollows with her giant fireball attack. And elsewhere, Marchis was bad-mouthing an adventurer, so Mura got angry and defeated him in one hit. Soon after, inside the tent, Duke Dortisheim refused Taichi's offer of peace. At the same time, Ariel realized something strange had happened to Inimicus, who was suddenly enveloped in a sinister black aura. While outside the tent, the soldiers who died were seen resurrecting. Elsewhere, Rin, who fought Susora, looked out of breath and realized Susora's immense power. However, Rin refused to give up. She gathered her strength again to attack until she finally weakened Susora. Suddenly, the troops who had died rose and attacked. They were all shocked, and Rin thought it was Susora's magic, but she said the zombie warriors had attacked her too. Back into the tent, Duke Dortisheim was shocked that Inimicus had turned into a figure he didn't recognize. Inimicus said that he had never considered Dortisheim his master because there was only one master. Hearing that, Taichi was surprised and remembered the dragon monster that attacked him. Ariel suddenly said he was the controller of the energy that enveloped Inimicus. This power originated from the war between the Galgan Empire and the Holy Empire of Scatolith 200 years ago and was known as the Bloody Rhapsody event. Apparently, Duke Dortisheim recognized the events that were told. Shortly after, Inimicus said those under his influence would become a person with no fear and pain until his body rotted away so they would continue to fight. Duke Dortisheim asked why he did that. As it turned out, from the start, Inimicus had installed magic on the plains to create a war on Elstein Kingdom as his master ordered. After that, he ordered the zombie troops in the tent to attack and kill everyone there. It turned out that several hundred years ago, during the battle between the Galgan Empire and the Holy Scatolith Empire, the troops lost control and killed everyone in their path. A total of 700 lives were lost in the battle, known as Bloody Rhapsody. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, an army of zombies surrounded them. Lemia explained that the troops were controlled by mind control magic. As long as they haven't destroyed the source of the black magic power, the zombie army will continue to attack without stopping. Then, a big battle ensued, and they continued to attack the invincible zombie army. On the other hand, Duke Dortisheim finally realized King Gilmer's decision and regretted being a traitor. Duke Dortisheim believed that the dark power of Inimicus was obtained from the figure called Master by Inimicus. Not long after, Taichi thought of his friends who fought on the battlefield and felt he had to take responsibility to finish the battle. He started to release his power, but suddenly Ariel stopped time, preventing him. Ariel said that everything that happened was her fault. She explained that her current form was fake because she feared Taichi's power. Ariel said if she lent her true power, she couldn't imagine what would happen if Taichi failed to control it because it could kill him. After that, Ariel said her goodbyes and disappeared. After Ariel left and turned back time, Taichi hugged Rin, apologized for everything that had happened, and said he would end the war. Soon after, Taichi raised his hand and put all his strength into breaking the black magic seal with Elementor Sylphid summoning magic. Seeing that, Lemia was amazed and said it was the birth moment of a true magician. From above the sky, the true figure of Ariel appeared and introduced her name as Sylphid. Susora recognized Sylphid as the great queen of holy spirits. Taichi said to Rin after the war was over, he would tell her everything. Taichi reveals he still has to catch up to the person who used the black magic. From another direction, Inimicus had turned into a bat monster and Taichi was chasing him. Afterward, Taichi asks about the purpose and who Inimicus is serving, but he only replies that his master will rule this world. Soon after, Inimicus stepped forward and attacked Taichi. He said he had heard the voice of the Holy Spirit since birth and said the purpose of Taichi being summoned here was because his master chose him. He also said that a great war would break out and shake the world. And when that happens, light and darkness will overlap, and the master will appear as a savior. Because of that, Taichi was chosen to be used as the strongest weapon for his master. Hearing all these things, Taichi no longer cared who the master was. He refuses to be his weapon and doesn't care what happens to the world. Taichi only wants to protect what he thinks is precious. He remembered Rin and the people who helped him survive in that world. Then, he attacks Inimicus to defeat him. Before he died, Inimicus said that he had completed the final task Shade gave. Finally, the war was over, and it was seen that life in Wenifix City was bustling again. When Taichi woke up, he realized he was back in the palace. Soon after, Princess Charlotte appears and thanks him. They were again summoned in front of King Gilmer and received many gifts and the title of Royal Warrior Advisor. Besides that, Duke Dordesheim was got trialed for his actions. After that, King Gilmer asked his brother's last words, and Duke Dordesheim said he didn't regret his actions. Then, by order of the king, Smyra executed Duke Dordesheim. Meanwhile, on the castle balcony, Taichi pondered what had happened. Suddenly, Lemia appears and says that Taichi has faced doubts and worries. Finally, the adventurers prepared to return to Aspire City. At the gate, Princess Charlotte once again thanked them for their help. Then she promised she would try to find a way to get Taichi and Rin back to their real world. However, Taichi tells her not to try too hard because he likes his new life. He said that now he has precious friends. Soon after, inside the horse carriage, Sylphid turned back into a small figure. Mura said she didn't expect Taichi to be able to control spirit power. At the end of the anime, it shows him looking out of the horse carriage. However, even when the battle was over, Taichi was still worried about who the master that Inimicus served was. He still does not understand the meaning of war that can destroy the world. What he knew now was that he would use his power to protect his precious friends. The anime ends. The moral message we can learn from this anime is that having good and loyal friends is very valuable.